The Double Alpha XIP, yes, that's actually how it's pronounced, Saul told me so, represents the latest in thinking of how to create a magazine pouch for USPSA or IPSC competition. The XIP is the evolution of the old DAA racer mag pouches that I used to compete with, so much so that the difference between the XIP and the Alpha X mag pouches now is basically just the body material being aluminum versus plastic. While the XIP prices have crept up relative to the racer, there's a lot more going on with the pouches and it's a much more robust design at about $43. So today we're looking at the Double Alpha XIP pouches. Are you ready? Stand by. Welcome back to the Humble Marksman channel, and I'm happy to talk to you about the XIP pouches from Double Alpha Academy. There's a lot going on with these pouches. They offer a ton of adjustability at a reasonable price point and are doing a lot of things that some of the other pouches aren't necessarily doing. So since practical shooting is somewhat of a young sport and there's not very much info out there on like a Wikipedia page or anything like that, I did want to just kind of throw some history at you as far as Double Alpha Academy is concerned, because everybody knows what the logo looks like and they think of it as just like this monolith in the shooting sports, and to an extent it is, but it's the brainchild of Saul Kirsch, who himself was a world-class competitor. He peaked at about 5th in the 2002 World Shoot, and he's an industrial engineer by training. So when he started Double Alpha Academy, it was an academy. It was a shooting academy. He'd travel around putting on shooting classes and sell products from the sponsors that he represented. But with an engineer's mind and a deep understanding of what it takes to be successful at the sport, he started creating his own product. So Double Alpha, as we know it today, is a 15-man operation based out of the Netherlands with a distributor in the US known as Alpha Dynamics. And whether you're shooting USPSA or IPSC, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting somebody who's rocking some Double Alpha gear. These were provided to me for review to make this video for you guys. It also came with this hat, a hat which I've noticed Max Michel wears, so I have to ask you, who wore it better, Max Michel, me, or Ricky Bobby? Sound off in the comments below.
Just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase is trademark, not to use the outside position of Ricky Bobby.
So before we can really talk about what the XIP is, we need to talk about what it grew from, which was the Double Alpha Racer pouch. And the Racer pouch is a great value and continues to be. They still sell it. It's at about $10 less of a price point, and it's effectively a very similar pouch to what's going on here with the XIP, but rather than having an aluminum bracket that holds the pouch onto the belt, it had a plastic bracket. Rather than having a ball joint that allows for infinite adjustability, it had a series of teeth that allowed you to kind of click at like 15-degree intervals or whatever it was. Fast forward to now, and basically everything about the pouch has evolved. This is a basically totally new pouch. I reviewed the racers forever ago as well. Don't watch the video. It's back in the pre-world class days and the video's terrible. But these pouches very much are kind of like the old Race Master pouches that I tried out, maybe better in some ways. The way the pouches interface with the belt is honestly one of my favorite, if not my favorite, ways that they retain pouches. They are secured only with 2 screws. There is a thin metal band that runs down the inner belt, and it seems like it will mount to any belt thickness. Now, I've got it mounted on the DAA premium belt with the American flag pattern. The model number, I'm pretty sure on this, is the F&BA, because it's awesome. That's not really the model number, but America. Now the DAA premium belt, if you haven't seen it, and you can see me holding it here, it is super rigid. It's one of the more rigid belts that's out there. And to top things off, it comes with their iconic Avengers style icon. So if you want to LARP that this is a utility belt and you're a superhero, that option becomes available to you with the Double Alpha belt.
I am Iron Man.
So the bracket that holds the pouch then connects to the pouch via a ball joint. So there is a equivalent of like a trailer hitch that you can screw onto the pouch body itself in one of 8 positions. That's going to be 3 on the left, 3 on the right, and 2 on the back. So all of the pouches can ride at 3 different heights when using bullets forward, or 2 different heights when doing bullets out. And if you've ever had to adjust your mag pouch in the field at a match and you notice that, oh, today's the day you just realized that you've rounded that Allen key and you can't torque down your pouches appropriately, Double Alpha eliminated that by only using Torx Head bolts. The screws that hold the bracket onto the belt have a Torx Head, and the big Torx Head right there on the ball joint features a Torx Head, and they came with a custom wrench and it's fantastic. It's oversized, it's at a 90 degrees, so it's very easy to apply pressure with, so you can really torque down on that ball joint and get it exactly how you need it. The pouches will come set up for a 2011 style magazine, and that's what I used when testing this with my Bull Armory Ultimate Racer. The way that the pouches retain magazines is there is a wraparound piece that has a little bridge that comes down the middle, and then there is a little insert at the back. The back insert is under pressure from a leaf spring. Back plate of the pouch has this little thumb wheel that you can adjust tension onto the magazine, so you can have the retention be adjusted just by turning this little wheel at the back. If you apply more, you can really dial in the retention so the belt doesn't really let go, but just the way the design is, there's a little bit of give. The mouths of the pouches are kind of chamfered, and since the back of it, you can basically compress that spring for stages where you have to like pick up your magazines and stow them in your belt. It's easier to get them into this style of holster than it is for some of the other ones that are out there that just rely on friction and are true to the size of the magazine. And since in USPSA, we're now allowed to wear our pouches wherever we want on our belts, and we can use magnets, you need one of these Double Alpha magnets, honestly. So the magazine is so large that you can actually fit 2 magazines on it, no problem. So for picking up and storing mags and running around the stage, the magnet is a very ideal size. More importantly than that is you can actually run around the stage with the magazine on the magnet and it will generally stay put. You see it shook down just a little bit, but if you do that with most magnets, you can shake the magazine off the belt. And this magazine is loaded with dummy rounds. It's got inert cartridges in there to be the proper weight, and it didn't shake it off. So you can absolutely run around the stage with a magazine on the magnet and use it to something to reload from. So unloaded starts, this is a must-have. Pick up and store magazines, you absolutely need one of these. So you need a magnet on your belt if you don't have one. So those are the features. As far as my experience with the pouch, I didn't get to use these in a match, which is kind of how the timing sort of worked out for filming this video, but I did get to use it at the range for about 7 live fire sessions and about 20 plus dry fire sessions. So I have a good flavor for how the pouches are going to perform. And the pouches are fantastic. I had 0 issues. The ball joint seems to be more solid than the old racer connection, which the pouches would have a little bit of wiggle. The only wiggle on these right now is based around the brackets. But when you're mounting the brackets on the belt, definitely use some blue Loctite. These little screws can back out, and if you lose them, I mean, they're gone forever. Since they are a specialty screw, you don't want to be held up by waiting for Double Alpha to ship you replacements, so a little bit of Loctite will go a long way. The retention on the pouches I found to be completely suitable, and what I did find interesting is I thought since they didn't have the cutout on the pouch that they would have kind of a slower feeling release than say some of the pouches that do have cutouts, because when you hit the pouch on a reload, it compresses the leaf spring just a little bit, so it kind of starts to move the magazine out of the pouch without interfacing with the front of the pouch. So the release is fast and super smooth on the XIPs. This is only going to be a feature that is appealing to those of you who travel around the country on airplanes to fly to matches. So if you take the pouches off the brackets, leave the brackets on, you can make the belt very, very small to fit in your travel suitcase, which is honestly a really cool feature. Since the pouches are on a ball joint, the pouches do kind of float a little bit away from the belt. If you're used to your pouches being like hard up on the belt line, this is going to be a little bit of an adjustment for you. I adapted to the pouches kind of floating off the belt a little bit more than I was accustomed to within a dry fire session. Like, you just learn where the pouch is and it's no longer an issue, but it's just something to be aware of if you really like the pouches to be super close to you. These are gonna stick out just a little bit more than you're probably accustomed. And most importantly, the XIPs are available in like 7 different colors, and you can really set off the colors in your shooting blouse with really awesome custom colors. And since we all know looking cool on the range is like the whole reason we're there, that's a really important feature. And since the pouch bodies are plastic and integrally colored, if you get scratches on them through transporting them from your car, on the range, whatever, it's not gonna wear through the finish where you're gonna see scratches or anything like that. So it's kind of a cool feature. And as far as the question of do they substantiate the price, I mean, there's a lot of features these pouches are doing that a lot of other pouches aren't. So at a $43 price point, you're getting a pouch with a ball joint that's infinitely adjustable, won't interfere the inner outer belt bind. It's got one of the easiest insertions of magazines into it. It has the option of possibly the best mag kit in the game right now. Changing the spacers on the pouch to go from one gun to another are super easy, and it is universal, and it'll fit basically everything except for single stack magazines. If you need a single stack adapter kit, they're like $4 or whatever through their website. So pretty economical in that regard. And being able to break the pouch down in order to fly to matches and put it in a suitcase is a really cool feature as well. So it's definitely doing stuff that pouches that cost less aren't doing, and I would say it's honestly worth the premium. The pouches are fantastic. So if you're a buy once, cry once kind of guy, but you want to save a little bit money on the aluminum pouches, I think the XIPs are pretty squared away. These are really premium mag pouches. If you compete with the XIP pouches, sound off in the comments below. Let me know your experience. Other people really benefit from hearing other people who have experience with the pouches. So sound off in the comments below. Let me know what your experience with the pouches has been. I appreciate Double Alpha Academy for letting me make this video. I really enjoyed getting to use these pouches. And if you've made it this far, please remember to like the video. And I have picked this video on recoil management for you, and YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video. Appreciate you guys. Catch you on the next one.